everybody. If you were elected, would you require the Department of Planning and Zoning to present any amendments for Newtown zoning to be done at one time rather than in the two different stages that the Department of Planning and Zoning has now presented? It goes for everybody.
All right, we'll start in reverse and start with the county council.
I'm not sure I understand the question.
The question has to do with the fact that right now the Department of Planning and Zoning is part of the, whatever you call it, vision plan, draft master plan, charrette product, whatever, has proposed the two-stage changes to the Newtown zoning regulations which control zoning in Columbia. One would be what they're calling an overlay for downtown, done at one time, and the rest would be done later for the rest of Columbia. As a resident of Wild Lake, and everybody is recognizing the impact of downtown's development on Wild Lake, I for one would like to see that done in context at one time.
I see what you're trying to say now. I certainly believe that if we're going to make a plan, we should make a plan that covers the entire vision and cover it in one fell swoop. Because one thing I have noticed, down with the, if any of you are familiar with the Maple Lawn Project down in Fulton, is that you fight with the community. As developers, they fight with the community, they go back and forth over years and years of battle until they come up with a compromise. And then they go to the county council, which is the zoning board, and they say, hey, everybody's happy, there's compromise, and they approve it. As soon as the shovels hit the dirt down there in Maple Lawn, they proposed changes. The orange signs went back up. So I think we need to stick. I think we should have contractual agreements from the start for the whole process. And I think that certainly I would agree with one time reviewing everything and moving forward in that direction.
I think it's absolutely essential in our zoning process for Columbia that we hold on to what has allowed us to grow and not have to deal with piecemeal zoning. Because if we don't do it all at once, we will in fact be dealing piecemeal across Columbia, which will make us very much like the rest of the county. I think we're blessed to live in Columbia. But what I also have to say about the zoning is that I also think it's absolutely essential that we have to change the Newtown zoning. Because currently, under the plan, under the zoning, only general growth properties can request a change, or can request any change to our development plan. And I believe that that right belongs to the people that own property. And so in order to do that, we're going to have to make that big change as well.
I'm not a big fan of DPZ. I've had a number of disputes with them. Right now they're trying to get me to alter a safety fence that protects my children from running into Martin Road. They're telling me that the fence is in violation of zoning, even though I've identified 132 identical fences within just a mile or so of my own home. So I'm having to go through a big, long process to get some sort of variance, which is totally unnecessary. So I definitely would work against DPZ and trying to do anything in a piecemeal fashion. They would definitely have to get whatever they want to do approved one time only, and be done with it.
I think that's a really important question. It's a great question, Mary. And I think the thing that's very unique about Newtown zoning, or I shouldn't say very unique, it is unique about Newtown zoning is that what happens on one parcel affects the things that happen on every other parcel. There are very few other zones like that. I see Mark Norman behind you, playing golf course community being another one of the prime ones that does that. But because that's true, because everything you do in one place affects the rules, and if you build a house here that's taken away from elsewhere, then absolutely we need to think about this in a much more holistic level.
Thank you. Mr. Burton?
As county executive, the Department of Planning and Zoning will report to me. The director will be appointed by me, and that office will report to me, as all the offices do in county government. So if you come out with a process that has multiple stages and these citizens guess you'll have one person to blame. That's me. I can assure you that that's not going to happen. As I said before, I believe in a holistic approach to the planning of downtown Columbia, not letting it go in phases. While the development may happen in phases, I think we all need to know what the rules are up front. We need to agree to those rules, but most importantly, we need to stick to those rules. Too often we see changes to the rules, as I mentioned before, changing boundary lines that were established in the general plan that we all agreed to allow a development or two to slip by because they didn't want to wait the 3 to 4 years that they needed to wait for. I voted against that. My opponent voted for it. You've got to stick to the rules.
Just to answer you directly, I would articulate a vision that would preclude piecemeal anything. It's not in the interest of citizens at all. It's true that different types of development have to go in stages, but I think a comprehensive proposal and review has to be presented honestly and fairly to the public. And I would simply avoid anything piecemeal and get it all up front.
Sometimes we can change the rules for the better. And that's what we've done over the last few months, and that's something that we're going to take a look at, improving the process. Improving the process is something I've been very focused on. You know, just a few months ago, I introduced legislation to force the Department of Planning and Zoning to provide technical staff reports at least 14 days before any case and any new evidence that comes in that's generated to the citizens in a timely fashion so the citizens can prepare. We required actual signs be posted that people can read. So big enough you don't have to stop and get out of your car and hike halfway up a hill and read what the sign says. You got to be bigger, they got to be posted in a way that you can read. We're pretty good at posting our own signs so that you can read them. We got of course, developers to do the same thing. And the last thing I want to say is, we've had a lot of talk about town center tonight, and I think it's been great. And let's keep in mind, had we not had the foresight to vote against the plan 3 years ago, they'd be building. So we're having a discussion, and that's a great thing for a community to be engaged in a discussion. But we're going to continue until we get it right. Thank you.
Yes. What was the question again? DPZ, right, yes. Yeah, I think I would address the DPZ issue before, and I'll say it again, that the whole DPZ needs to be looked at. I will establish a commission to look at the zoning process, and what we need is one-stop shopping in zoning, and we need to stop, as our President County Council, as our President Zoning Board is doing, making exceptions for specific developers. In addition, I'd like to say that I would support Ms. Sigaty's legislation that she's proposed for a historic district in downtown Columbia. I would support and work with her 100% on adopting that particular measure. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.